Mike, I know we're both fans of Marvel movies, and I don't know if we've had this conversation before, like a character or a hero that is like your favorite. I mean, there's so many to choose from, but is there somebody you're really partial to if you go over, whether it's Marvel or not? Is there like a superhero you look at and say, that's my guy? And if so, who is it?
Yeah. Well, it depends on the context. If you're talking about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I would say that would be Iron Man. Seeing as though Tony Stark and I have a lot in common.
Yeah, of course.
If you're talking about Marvel versus Capcom back in the day, in the arcade, I used to do work with Wolverine. Okay, I'm the best in the business at what I do. And if you're talking about DC, it's Batman. So, because that's two things. One, I got a lot in common with genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropists.
Of course you do.
Detectives. And then
that's what everybody says
about you. The other one is, I also like arguing with people who like to say that because he's not a Norse god, or because he wasn't infected by gamma radiation, or because he wasn't bitten by a radioactive spider, somehow Tony Stark doesn't qualify as a superhero, or Batman is not a superhero, even though Batman is the leader of the Justice League. Like, you can't be the leader and strategist of the Justice League and not be qualified as a superhero.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I don't care if he ain't from Krypton or not. Oh, yeah, it's like, come on. Like, he's a superhero.
Why? Because this group...
If you're doing the same job, that means you're a superhero.
And
he's fighting Darkseid the same way Superman is. Okay?
Leadership is a gift.
Thank you for
Leadership
asking.
is a gift. Yeah.
Thank you for asking.
You can't... It's tough to manage this group.
It's up here.
If you can manage them... So, Batman is a good one. But I like the first one you said. Iron Man.
Iron Man?
Tony Stark. Who had the brains, went to school right down the street. MIT. Right across the river here in Boston from where I am right now. But Iron Man has an answer for everything. There's an answer for everything. Sometimes it doesn't work, but most of the time it does. And that's how I see the Kansas City Chiefs and their leader, Patrick Mahomes. There's an answer for everything. So if you want to go early Patrick Mahomes, now you got to dice up his career. Like, if you say, hey, Patrick, I'm a big fan. If you go up and you meet Patrick Mahomes, say, Mahomes, I'm a big fan. He can say to you, what era? Taylor Swift. What era are you a fan of? Because early in my career, I was seen as a guy who just fling it all over the park and 50 touchdowns and, hey, I'm explosive. Now, in my career, I understand what the assignment is week to week. And I understand what I have. I have a great defense. So there are times that I have to lean on not Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is gone. And not all the time Travis Kelce. Sometimes it's Isaiah. First Isaiah Pacheco, right behind me. So they were running the ball yesterday. They ran the ball last week against Buffalo. They only scored 17 points, and the Ravens must look at this and say, we have a great defense. We gave up 17 points at the crib in a conference championship game. We pretty much shut them down in the second half. We didn't allow much, and we still lost. Why? Because the Kansas City Chiefs just have a little bit more. I said this before, Mike. They got a little bit more than you do. Their gift is they just have a little bit more than you do. They don't have to have 10 times as much, twice as much, just a little bit more. Yesterday, a little bit more plays, a little bit more restraint, a little bit more just situational awareness, and that's why they're going to the Super Bowl for the fourth time in the last 5 years. Patrick Mahomes, also known as Iron Man.
Or you can go Thanos. They're inevitable. I don't know how they're here. I don't know how they're here. Like, this was not supposed to be another appearance for them. Like, with all the problems they've had offensively, specifically at the wide receiver position, because last year, with Eric Bieniemy still as the OC, they became a different offense, and not only overcame Tyreek Hill's departure, but reinvented themselves and in some ways became even more dangerous. This year it looked like that absence had caught up to him. Like, about that not having a bona fide number one receiver. Yeah, is Travis Kelce done? Is he cooked? 11 catches for 116 yards. Most receptions in NFL playoff history, passing Jerry Rice. Like, the Taylor Swift stuff, I'm okay with the Taylor. All right, sidebar, because I haven't talked to you in a while. I'm good with the Taylor Swift stuff. I'm good with the cutaways to Taylor Swift. It's Taylor Swift.
Too.
Why would you not cut away to Taylor Swift? And if you don't understand why they're cutting away to Taylor Swift, then you're probably not into Taylor Swift. And I'm saying that as somebody who's not into Taylor Swift. But I understand those that are into Taylor Swift. I understand the global phenomenon that is Taylor Swift. Like,
that's right.
If Beyonce weren't married to Jay-Z, and she were in the booth, okay, and she was dating Isaiah Pacheco, more Beyonce. I would not be like, oh,
yes.
I'm sick of
yes,
seeing
please.
Beyonce. It's like, and I'm not picking one or the other. Okay, I don't want this to get confused. I'm just simply saying I get it. What I don't like, I hope we don't have to see or hear anything else about, is the swag surfing. That made me throw up in my mouth. I really hope that there's no more Taylor Swift, Kansas City Chiefs, swag surfing conversation, or swag surfing think pieces or memes moving forward. That said, this was not supposed to be their year. I cannot believe that the Kansas City Chiefs, because people are comparing them in that inevitability, in that resourcefulness, in that versatility to the dynastic Patriots. And I cannot believe that the Chiefs went from the 2007, even though I know they didn't win, the 2007-ish or late Brady Patriots at the beginning of the Patrick Mahomes era, to the 2003, 2004 Patriots at this point in the Patrick Mahomes era. Do you follow what I'm saying?
That's right.
Like, they have become a ball control, defense, running game, physical football team.
They reversed it.
They reversed it.
They reversed. They reversed the whole Patriot.
They went from
the
a
Patriot
team
timeline.
Right. They go timeline. I love it. They went from just don't let him throw it over your head. Make him have to check it down. Make him have to be patient. Make them have to matriculate the ball down the field. Rest in peace, Hank Stram. To okay, cool. That's how you want to play. That's how you want us to play. We'll play that way. And with Patrick Mahomes sprinkling in the use of his legs, that they like to say. I love when people say use your legs. What's wrong with run? I wish I could send so many people the elements of style. Strunk and White, the elements of style. When did we start saying use your legs? How about just run?
Yes, please.
But anyway, nonetheless, I digress.
Can I just a little nerd, nerd plug?
No, go ahead.
I always
say, you would appreciate that.
Elements of Style, the most important little book in America. I reread it like twice a year. Please do it.
Yeah.
Please do it.
Yeah.
Even though some of the references are dated, they're talking about word processors in there and things of that nature.
Yeah.
However, it's still, the principles remain. Yes, run instead of use your legs. Run.
Right. So anyway, Patrick Mahomes using his legs.
So simple.
So now I root for good stories. And it's a great story. I mean, it's a great story objectively, not for the rest of the league, and I've invoked this reference before. One of my favorite films is Troy. I've always been a Troy guy. Troy, 300 Gladiator. That's always been my rankings when it comes to that genre of film. And at the end, Odysseus' character. I know a lot of people don't like Troy because academics are like, it's nothing like the Iliad. It's like it is not historically accurate. I get it, it's not historically accurate, but it's still nonetheless entertaining. Okay, and there's a lot of
hey academics, let's have some fun. Let's have some fun.
So
okay, can we have fun?
At the end of it, at the end of it, when they're lighting Achilles' funeral pyre. I mean, they're having the funeral games for everybody at the end of the Trojan War. the narrator, Odysseus, played by Brandon Beane, who not Brandon Beane, that's the GM of the that's the GM of the Bills. No,
Buffalo Bills.
Brian Beane, I believe is his name, who also played Ned Stark in Game of Thrones. He says, "Tell them I lived in the time of Achilles." And I've used this before when it comes to Patrick Mahomes, that we're living in the time of Patrick Mahomes. But now I'm going to go, 90s Michael Jordan. Like, it feels like Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, they were born at the wrong time. Maybe they're the NFL
Thank
equivalent
you.
of Patrick Ewing and Karl Malone.
That's what I've been screaming.
Reggie Miller.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm sorry to be stealing your lines in, but it's just
it's not even stealing. I'm happy to hear you say it because I feel like it's the same thing. Well, I said to Mike Hill last week, he was like, hey, well, other guys, Isaiah got by Larry and all this stuff. He said, look, with all respect to Larry Bird is one of the baddest.
You said this last week? Oh, you said it last week?
Last week.
You said it? Oh, okay.
Last week.
Yeah, okay. Wow. Honestly, I did not hear you say that. And I'm sure we're not the first to invoke this comparison.
But I like this, though. I like this because, hey, you're saying it in a different way and a better way. Because Larry Bird was one of the baddest dudes in the history of the NBA. I put him in my top 10. You don't want to put him in your top 10, put him in your top 15. But Jordan is no lower than 2 for you. Yeah. He's probably your 1. He's most people's 1. And so
it's Sean Bean. Thank you, Gary. Sean Bean. Thank you. I knew it was Bean. Sean Bean.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Hey.
Way to be on the spot.
You try to take the
Ned Stark. Shout out to Ned
Stark. You try to take the
Michael,
crown. No, I'm saying you try to take the crown from Isaiah Thomas or Magic or Larry. It's challenging. It's difficult. But you're taking the crown from one of the best or maybe the best to ever play it. It's impossible. It's impossible. Now, crown. That doesn't mean you can't get by him because Tom Brady, as great as he was, Tom Brady, he lost 3 Super Bowls. So he lost conference championship games. I saw him lose.
Sure.
I saw him stumble and fumble and throw interceptions in big games. But in the era of Achilles, the era of Mahomes, the era of Jordan, the era of Brady, more often than not, you're going to come up short. So Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, stand over there. Stand over there in line. Jimmy Garoppolo is over there right now. Jalen Hurts is over there right now. They can tell you stories. They got testimonials. That a lot of people, how it looks one way on paper, but when you see them up close and you experience it, it's just hard to describe. You had to be there. And Patrick Mahomes is becoming one of those had-to-be-there quarterbacks.
Well, and you had to watch yesterday's game because you'll look back at history and see 30 of 39 for 241 yards, 1 touchdown pass, and then 6 carries for 15 yards in a 17-10 victory and think he didn't do anything special.
What's the big deal? Right.
But you know what he did? You know what he did? You know what he did? He managed the game. he managed the game. He managed the game. Okay? That's what he did. He was a system quarterback operating within a system that allowed them to run the ball as they needed to, when they needed to. I mean, they didn't, I don't think they gashed the Ravens per se, but they were effective enough running the ball, controlling the ball, okay? A defense that held the presumptive, soon-to-be 2-time MVP to 10 points. So he did what he had to do, when he had to do it, how he had to do it. Ain't nothing wrong with that. The system. I go back to Brock Purdy. It's like Andy Reid, okay? Brett Veach, like this organization, the Hunt family, like it's a system. And ain't nothing wrong with him thriving and driving and being the centerpiece of this system. There's nothing wrong with that. Shout out to Steve Spagnuolo, okay? Shout out to Spags. And Spags we trust, as they were saying yesterday. Because it's not just Mahomes. He's got I don't even want to call him the greatest receiving tight end because that seems to diminish Gronk's receiving ability. But he's the greatest receiving tight end of all time. We have more catches than Jerry Rice in postseason history. You're the greatest receiving tight end of all time. He's not the greatest tight end of all time. That's Gronk because you have to block as well. And I will put Gronk as number one still. But greatest receiving tight end of all time is Travis Kelce. Sorry, Antonio Gates and the like. Or even Tony Gonzalez.
Antonio Gates.
Yeah, there's
Tony
a lot.
Gonzalez.
Yeah, right. There's a lot of them. And that's just the modern guys. Shout out to Kellen Winslow.
John Mackey.
Right, there you go. Award named after him. So yeah, I mean, it was a team. It's a team accomplishment, like they all are. You don't go to 4 Super Bowls in 5 years because you're dragging subpar talent. Even though I thought it was poetic, very poetic, that he iced this game, completing a deep shot
at the end of the game, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, it's like of course, like you can't script this.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.